Hey everybody, Motopoet here. I try to get these things out closer to the race that has already happened, but PULPMX Fantasy is making that impossible. I don't know if you're playing it or not, but these guys really suck at getting their act together. They're okay with the points, but there's no way. Number one, because let me say I was out of town last Saturday. We were staying with some friends over at the coast, and it was like 5:30 on Saturday, and I realized I hadn't picked my team yet. We were getting ready to go out to dinner, so I just picked them real quick. I didn't write it down anywhere. I didn't put it in my notes or anything, and I know that I had in the 250s. I know for a fact that I had Lawrence, Craig, and Thrasher. I don't think I had Mostman because I believe I had him the week before, and you can't pick the same rider in consecutive weeks. So I'm not sure. In the 450s, the same thing. I know I had Anderson, Roczen, and Plessinger, but I can't remember if I either picked Sexton or Webb. I think it was Webb. I don't think I picked Sexton because he had such a dismal showing at Oakland. There's no way in PULPMX Fantasy to go back and look at who your team was last week. There's no way to do it. You can only see who you had when you pull up the information for this week, and that information isn't available yet. They said their handicap thing is all screwed up or something. I don't know. Mostman had a great race, but Craig went down in the first turn and came back to third from dead last, and had looked like a banged up bike, but he still came back and finished third. Had he not crashed, I don't think Mosman could have beat him, but I'm glad Mosman finally won one. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's made a lot of progress over the last couple of years. He seems to be really happy at Gas. So I was glad to see him win. Hunter Lawrence is just rock solid. I don't know if he'll win a race this year. I really don't. He's certainly fast enough, but as long as he keeps finishing the way he's finishing, I'll keep picking him in my fantasy league. I'll keep picking Mostman. I'll pick Craig. And as I said, you can't pick him every week, so I have to rotate weeks. And Nate Thrasher was up there with all the guys, and with a couple of laps to go, overjumped or came up short. I'm not sure which because it didn't catch him, but he ended up going over one of the bowl turns and off the track, and finished 8th. Not good. The All-Star racers all have very low handicaps, if at all. Some of them are zeros. I'm not going to do real well, but I did okay in the 250 class. 450 class, again, I cannot remember who all I picked. I do know I had Plessinger, Roczen, and Anderson was on fire. Had he gotten a better start, it would have been the same thing as Craig was. He'd have ran away with it. Sexton was going fast, but Anderson was going faster. He had faster lap times. He was starting to reel him in, and his bike broke. And in this day and age, having a factory 450 break down on you it's almost unheard of, and I really felt bad for him because he was easily the fastest rider out there in the 450 class. Ferrandis, I didn't pick Dylan because he's just too inconsistent. He gets terrible starts, and he wouldn't have finished third. Anderson broke, Roczen crashed, and there's the if I know if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. But it was just a really weird race. It was just a lot of weird things happened. The Basha Bogle thing. Basha got docked a point for, a lot of people think it was because of the incident with Bogle, but it wasn't. He got docked a point in a position for hauling ass down alongside the whoops instead of going back through him after he was run into by Bogle, after he was taken out by Bogle, and Bogle was disqualified. I think that both punishments were appropriate. If Bogle had been on the same lap as Basha, I would very much disagree with the disqualification, but he was a lap down. He was riding around waiting for Basha to come by, and if you're a lap right, and Bogle even admitted this on PulpMX on his interview. He said he should never have done that, but he was pissed. I get it. I've never raced at that level. But even at the level I raced at, I'd get burnt when guys would punt me. And Basha, I saw the photographs, didn't see any video. There wasn't any video of the incident, but it looks like Basha really gave him a wheel and an elbow. But, it's like Bogle said, you know what? I was guilty of it. I'm a man up. I own it. He just said that he wished that Basha would start owning it. I think Basha kind of is a little bit now. I don't know. I don't care. I love banging bars and motocross and supercross. It's part of the sport. I think it's a physical contact sport, and unless somebody does an absolute blatant takeout like Bogle did on Basha, I think everybody should just calm down and enjoy the racing. Roczen ran into the back of Anderson when Anderson passed him and fell down. Kenny's he had an Anaheim 1, obviously a great race, but his last 2 races have been terrible. He finished, 7th this last week. And the thing I've noticed about Roczen is once he goes down like that, like he did at Oakland, that was early in the race. And he got up in 16th and never really, I think he finished 12th last week. And he really didn't make up any ground this week after he went down. It's like once that happens to him, he just doesn't have it in him to charge back up and make up positions. And that's too bad. I love Ken Roczen, but I think he's lost the edge on his aggressiveness. He used to be a very aggressive rider, and he just seems to have lost that. Maybe the last few seasons, all the injuries he suffered and the sicknesses, maybe he just doesn't want to push it anymore, and I can't blame him for that. Plessinger just never really got going this week, but Sexton was on fire. If I didn't pick him this last week, which I'm sure I didn't, I will certainly pick him next week because I think he's getting ready to go on a run. Now that he's figured out he can do it. And these guys better watch out because he ain't messing around anymore. I think Anderson is still way capable of beating everybody out there with the possible exception of Sexton on a regular basis. He can certainly beat Sexton. He was riding faster last week, but I don't know. We'll see. Cooper Webb, another so-so week. Malcolm Stewart, another so-so week. Poor Malcolm, he went to all that trouble and has gone to all that expense to get involved in the Baker farm thing, and it hasn't changed anything. Nothing at all. Marvin Muskin, wow, what a terrible race. The guy comes out, blasts out with the whole shot and finished 10th. Tomac looked good on the Yamaha. We'll see if that keeps up once he gets comfortable with that. I predicted at the beginning of the year that he still had some races to win, and I picked him in week 1. And I might pick him again this week if PULPMX Fantasy ever opens up the choices again. This week, Anaheim 2, our family usually goes to Anaheim 2. Me and my wife, our kids used to go, almost all of them really. But now it's just my oldest daughter and her family now, and my grandkids, and we have a couple of friends that we turned on to Supercross a few years ago, and they usually go with us. But with all the things that were going on, not restrictions, but you couldn't buy tickets at the box office this year. My daughter and I usually drive to Anaheim and pick those tickets up and save everybody what used to be a $10 convenience fee. This year, the convenience fee was $16.95. We just weren't going to pay that. Not that we couldn't afford it, but screw them. And it's probably still going to sell out because most people don't care about that, but we did. That was the line we drew. And so this Saturday, we're all going over to my daughter's house. We're going to have us some tri-tip and whatever else they decide to cook, whatever else we decide to bring, and enjoy Anaheim 2 from the comfort of Cassie and Jamin's living room. All right. Got any thing to add to that or subtract from that? You have any ideas about what's going on this week? Your predictions for Anaheim 2? Sexton's, it's hard to go against Sexton, and it's hard to go against Anderson. The rest of them, I don't think they have anything for those two guys unless something unusual happens. So let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motopoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content, and we'll see you all later.